Picture this: India in 1990. A country on the brink of significant transformation, with its streets bustling with life and its markets teeming with energy. Big changes were happening, but a huge debate was about to start, one that would change India forever. This debate would touch the very core of Indian society and its values. This was the Mandal Case, a super important decision by the Supreme Court that changed how India helped people who were left out. It was a landmark ruling that would redefine social justice in the country. This case was about giving certain groups, called other backward classes or OBCs, a special chance to get government jobs and go to college. It aimed to level the playing field for those who had been historically marginalized. It caused protests all over India, lots of arguments, and showed how divided Indian society really was. The streets were filled with voices both for and against the decision, highlighting the deep-rooted tensions. The Mandal case wasn't just about laws. It showed how India was trying to make everyone equal, even though things weren't equal at all. It was a bold step towards addressing centuries of inequality. It made India look at its caste system and ask some tough questions about fairness. The case forced the nation to confront its social hierarchies and the injustices they perpetuated. The case, named after the Mandal Commission, started a conversation that's still going on today. It opened up a dialogue about representation and equality that continues to evolve. This video will look closely at the Mandal case, its history, the legal arguments, and what happened afterward. We'll explore the complexities and the far-reaching impacts of this monumental decision. We'll see why it was so important, not just for the law, but for India's journey to becoming a fairer place for everyone. The case was a pivotal moment in the nation's ongoing struggle for social justice. The Mandal case reminds us how hard it is to make a society where everyone has a chance, especially when things aren't equal. It underscores the challenges and the necessity of striving for inclusivity. It shows how important it is to talk to each other, understand each other, and care about each other when dealing with these tough problems. Open dialogue and empathy are crucial in addressing societal issues. Making India a place where everyone belongs and has opportunities is something we're still working on. The journey is ongoing, and the Mandal case remains a significant milestone in that quest. To really get the Mandal case, we need to know about the Mandal Commission. This commission played a pivotal role in shaping India's social and educational policies. Made in 1979 by the Janata Party government, this group had a huge job: find all the groups in India that were behind in education and social status. It was a monumental task that required extensive research and dedication. Led by B.P. Mandal, a former chief minister, the commission went all over India to learn about these groups. They traveled to remote villages and bustling cities, gathering data and listening to people's stories. India's constitution already said that some groups, like the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, needed extra help, like a reserved spot in colleges and jobs. These provisions were meant to uplift the most marginalized sections of society. But what about other groups that were left out, the OBCs? These other backward classes also faced significant social and educational disadvantages. Nobody really knew what to do about them. There was a lack of clear policy or direction on how to address their needs. The Mandal Commission's job was to figure this out. They conducted extensive research, held numerous meetings, and engaged with various communities to understand the depth of the issue. After years of research, talking to people and looking at information, they gave their report in 1980. And it was surprising. The findings were beyond what anyone had anticipated. They said OBCs were 52% of India's population, way more than anyone thought. This revelation was a game changer in understanding the demographic landscape of the country. Seeing how these groups were left out, the Commission said 27% of government jobs and college spots should be saved just for them, on top of what was already saved for SCs and STs. This was a bold recommendation aimed at ensuring fair representation. This was a big deal. The recommendation sparked widespread debate and discussion across the nation. Some people loved it and said it was fair, but others thought it was bad and would cause problems. The nation was divided on the issue. This started a huge fight, both in the courts and in society. Legal battles and public protests became a common sight. The Mandal Commission's report didn't solve anything. It started a huge argument. The debate over its recommendations continues to shape India's policies and society even today. For 10 years, nobody did much about the Mandal Commission's recommendations. It was a hot potato that politicians didn't want to touch. But in 1990, the VP Singh government said they give 27% reservation to OBCs. This started everything. People who wanted social justice were happy, but lots of other people were angry. They said it was unfair to people who worked hard and did well in school. They said it was using caste to decide who gets ahead, even though caste isn't that important anymore. When the government put the plan into action, huge protests started, especially with students who thought they wouldn't get into college or get good jobs. People went to the Supreme Court to ask if what the government was doing was even legal. This started a long court case that everyone in India watched. The big question was what backward classes really meant, and if it was okay to use caste to decide who gets extra help. The Supreme Court had to decide what was fair for everyone. It was a really hard decision. Everyone waited to see what the Supreme Court would say. This decision would change India a lot. The Mandal case wasn't just about who gets into college or gets a job. It was about what kind of country India wanted to be. Effort to address the challenges of social change.